Hi, I'm Jason Leiden, the National Director for Black and Pink, an open family of LGBTQ prisoners and free world allies who support each other. Black and Pink is a nationally networked grassroots organization working to abolish the prison industrial complex while having a focus on the unique and specific needs of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer identified prisoners across the United States. We have a pen pal program that connects prisoners with free world volunteers to really build relationships, to have the possibility of strengthening our ability to fight back against this criminal punishment system that is a tool of racial control, that is a tool of targeting poor people, that regulates and controls people who are gender nonconforming, trans, who are queer, that goes after people with disabilities, the system that is rooted in institutional violence against our communities. Black and Pink receives hundreds of letters every week from prisoners across the country looking to build connections, to create community, to tell stories of survival and struggle, to get access to pen pals so that they can have a community of support that they need. In December of 2014, there were over 125 holiday card parties organized by volunteers across the United States. These gatherings provided an opportunity for free world folks to ensure that prisoners had some sort of connection to the outside, being reminded that they are not forgotten. However, even when we send these cards in, sometimes prisons reject us. Prisoners across the country responded with incredible thanks of being reminded that they matter, and that this is part of creating communities of care, is ensuring that prisoners know that they are not forgotten. One of Black and Pink's most powerful organizing resources is our newspaper. Organizing with prisoners is very different than organizing with people in the free world, in that prisoners can't just come together for a group community meeting. We need to communicate and build analysis through snail mail. And so this is our newspaper that we send out every month. We tell those stories of fighting back, of survival. We tell the stories of fear and anxiety, violence and harm. And we also print poetry. Black and Pink also works with formerly incarcerated people, people convicted of offenses, people who experience policing, and folks who are court involved. We ensure that leadership development is an essential part of the work that we do, making it so that people have the opportunity and ability to tell their own stories. Like this one, Shantae Hall speaking at Harvard at the Black Policy Conference.
I went to jail. It's been down for it, being transgender, being like this. And to put me in a room with 4 guys, it was extremely hard using the bathroom. It's been constantly, I got into a bad fight. This is down for it. It's been the jail system is no good for transgenders and gays. It's been people who, there's a group of people that go against you. And it's good to have somebody on your side. You know what I'm saying? I wish I did try to make us meet. As I credit, I stay quiet, but I try to stay, trying to get through.
Black and Pink has just finished conducting the largest ever survey of LGBTQ prisoners across the United States. We sent this 133 question survey to our membership, and we got over 1,000 responses back. This survey is allowing us to be able to tell stories about what's happening with LGBTQ prisoners. And this survey itself was created by our incarcerated membership. It took us over a year to actually create this survey because our members were giving reflections back on what the questions should be. What questions should we ask about the experiences of LGBTQ prisoners so that this information can then be used to make changes, to build the power again of prisoners, but then also force and push policymakers to stop the abuse that's happening to LGBTQ prisoners while we're also working to fight the entirety of the prison industrial complex. Queer liberation means a world without prisons. Our work is intersectional and systemic. We recognize that as we're fighting for LGBTQ prisoners, that this means we are centering the lives of people of color, specifically about challenging anti-Blackness, the realities of incarceration of Indigenous people, that we must end violence against people with disabilities, that we must make a connection around fighting all of these systems of oppression if we wish to actually live in a world without prisons. To do that, we have incredible volunteers. We have volunteers in Boston, we have volunteers in Chicago, we have volunteers in Boise, Idaho, in Denver, Colorado, in chapters all over the country who gather together to do the work that makes this possible. And then we have outreach, that the way we're going to be able to build community, the way we're going to be able to build our movement is by meeting people where they're at. And Pride, the original Pride in New York City, was rallying and chanting outside of a women's jail. So we continue to remind people at Prides across the country that prisoners matter and must be part of our resistance. But we also know that it's not only about fighting all the time, that we need to make space to celebrate. So in Boston, we gather together for an alternative 4th of July gathering. Black and Pink is coalitional in the sense that we know that in order for us to make transformative changes, that we need to do this in relationship with others. So we show up at rallies, we show up at events that are organized by other people. We also make partnerships to do outreach across issues, that we show up at HIV and AIDS organizations doing work because we know that 1 in 4 to 1 in 7 people living with HIV will be incarcerated at some point in their lives. We work closely with organizations like the Hispanic Black Gay Coalition. We also see healthcare as key to our survival. We do outreach at the Transgender Health Fair in Boston, Massachusetts, where we reach people through the Boston Healthcare for the Homeless program. And we also tell our stories to policymakers. We fought back against solitary confinement, and we created space for formerly incarcerated people to tell their own stories about solitary confinement. Black and Pink understands that our work needs to also continue with education. We've done school-to-prison pipeline workshops, we've done community organizing workshops, making sure that people have access to the skills they need so that we can build this movement that is innovative. We also have a celebration of artwork. Our newspaper exhibits artwork, we post artwork on the internet, we show the artwork of prisoners because we know that incarceration, while destroying people's bodies and minds, also there are moments when prisoners are able to resist, to create beauty. And so we would like to share that as much as possible with the world. Most recently, we were at the Color of Violence conference in Chicago, building relationships with people across the country, again recognizing that in order for this work to be successful, it must be collaborative. And here's just a few of our incarcerated members. People who we refuse to forget. People whose voices we lift up in every way possible. The weekend of October 16th through 18th, we will be gathering in Boston, Massachusetts to celebrate 10 years of Black and Pink, our gathering that we're calling a decade of Black and Pink. We will be gathering to celebrate, to build new skills, to do healing work. Black and Pink will be bringing together over 75 formerly incarcerated people from across the country. We will also be bringing together allies from chapters across the country who are thinking about the future and possibility of Black and Pink. We are the largest ever organization working on LGBTQ prisoner-specific struggles. And it is essential that our organizing be led by those who are most affected by these systems of violence. We will be creating a new national structure at this gathering. We will be creating space for people to tell their stories, to challenge the way things have been going, and to come up with new ideas of what is the real potential for an organization that strives to be grassroots, that is a nationally networked effort, that we are creating something powerful. And it is in hope that we will move forward as we continue the fight to create a world with no prisons.